My dear friends, welcome. Life is a beautiful journey, and by the time we reach our 50s, 60s, or even 70s, we've gathered enough wisdom to fill a library. But even the wisest among us can sometimes let slip words that don't serve us, or others. Well, today we're going to talk about 6 things you should never say to anyone at this stage of life. And let me tell you, the 6th one might just shock you. It's something many of us say without even realizing the impact it has. So, stick with me, and let's dive in. Mom, I'm too old for that. This phrase might seem harmless at first glance, but it carries a heavy weight. When you tell yourself, I'm too old for that, you're creating a barrier between you and the possibilities life still holds. Whether it's a new hobby, a different style of clothing, or even a bold career change, labeling yourself as too old prevents you from exploring opportunities that could bring joy, growth, or even transformation. Let's consider a common scenario: technology. Many people in their 50s, 60s, and beyond shy away from learning new tech tools or apps, saying it's for the younger generation. But imagine the doors that could open if you embraced it instead. Video calls with distant family, accessing endless knowledge online, or even creating your own digital content. These are just a few examples of how technology can enrich your life. Age is no barrier to learning, and the sense of accomplishment you'll feel can be deeply rewarding. Another example is physical activity. Perhaps someone suggests trying yoga, swimming, or even dancing, and you immediately think, I'm too old for that. The truth is, many activities can be adapted to suit your abilities and needs. Movement is not only essential for physical health, but also for mental well-being. Imagine joining a dance class and not only improving your fitness, but also forming new friendships and rediscovering the joy of movement. It's not about competing with others. It's about enriching your own life. Now, let's talk about adventures. Have you ever wanted to travel to a faraway place, write a book, or pick up painting, but stopped yourself with the thought, it's too late for me? Here's the truth. It's never too late. People in their 70s and even 80s have embarked on new careers, taken up new hobbies, or seen parts of the world they always dreamed about. The only thing holding you back is the belief that you're too old. Instead of saying, I'm too old for that, try reframing your thoughts. Say, I've never tried that before. Maybe now is the perfect time. Allow yourself the freedom to explore without the weight of self-imposed limitations. After all, age is just a number, and life is for living, not for putting up boundaries. When you shed the phrase, I'm too old for that, you open the door to endless possibilities. You give yourself permission to grow, experience, and thrive in ways you might never have imagined. 2. Back in my day, things were better. It's natural to feel nostalgic about the past. After all, those years hold cherished memories, simpler times, and moments that shaped who you are today. But when you say, back in my day, things were better, you unintentionally close the door to understanding and appreciating the present. While this phrase may stem from fondness, it can come across as dismissive or even judgmental, especially to younger generations. Let's think about what's behind this sentiment. Often, we long for the past because it represents familiarity and comfort. Maybe the pace of life was slower, communities were tighter knit, or technology hadn't yet reshaped the way we interact. Those were wonderful aspects of the times you lived through, and they're worth treasuring. But saying things were better can imply that the present holds no value, a message that can alienate others, especially younger people who are finding their way in today's world. Consider the progress we've made as a society. Medical advancements have extended lifespans and improved quality of life for countless people. Technology, while sometimes overwhelming, has connected the world in ways that were once unimaginable. Social awareness around issues like mental health, equality, and sustainability has grown significantly. Acknowledging these changes doesn't mean dismissing the past. It means embracing the fact that every era has its challenges and triumphs. Now, think about how this phrase might land. With a younger person, when you say, "Back in my day, things were better," it can sound as if you're invalidating their experiences. They might feel as though their efforts, achievements, and struggles aren't being seen or respected. Instead, try saying something like, "Things were different in my day, and I'd love to hear how you experience the world now." This shifts the tone from comparison to curiosity, fostering understanding and dialogue. It's also worth considering how your own perspective might evolve when you keep an open mind about the present. When you engage with younger people and take the time to learn about their experiences, you might find yourself inspired by their energy, creativity, and resilience. Likewise, they can benefit from your wisdom and life lessons, creating a beautiful exchange between generations. The past was wonderful, but the present has its own beauty too. By avoiding the phrase, "Back in my day, things were better," you allow yourself to live in the moment, connect with others, and continue growing. Nostalgia is a gift, but it doesn't have to overshadow the blessings of today. 3. You should. The phrase "you should" is often spoken with good intentions. It's our way of sharing wisdom, offering guidance, or trying to help someone avoid mistakes we've made ourselves. But here's the thing. While the advice might be well-meaning, the way it's delivered can sometimes sound controlling, judgmental, or dismissive. Instead of encouraging someone, it can make them feel defensive or even invalidated. Let's explore why this happens. When you say, "you should," it implies that you know what's best for someone else. Even if that's true in some cases, people value their autonomy and want to feel capable of making their own decisions. For instance, imagine telling a friend or family member, "You should get a different job," or "You should stop eating that." While your words might come from a place of care, they can unintentionally sound like criticism of their current choices or abilities. So how can you still share your wisdom without sounding overbearing? The key lies in reframing your advice. Instead of saying "you should," try phrases like, "Have you thought about? In my experience, I've found that." One thing that worked for me was. These alternatives invite conversation instead of closing it off. They acknowledge the other person's perspective and make room for a dialogue, rather than presenting your advice as a command. For example, if someone is struggling with a decision, you might say, "When I faced something similar, this is what helped me. What do you think?" This approach feels collaborative, not prescriptive. There's another layer to this as well. Sometimes people aren't looking for advice at all. They're seeking someone who will simply listen. Before offering guidance, pause and ask, "Do you want my thoughts on this? Or do you just need a sounding board?" That small act of asking can make a world of difference in how your words are received. Think about the relationships in your life. How much stronger could they become if you shifted from telling people what they should do to supporting them as they explore their own paths? Your experiences and insights are valuable, but so are their unique journeys. By replacing "you should" with more open, supportive language, you empower others to grow and learn on their terms while still sharing the benefit of your wisdom. In doing so, you cultivate respect, strengthen your connections, and create an environment where advice is welcomed, not resented. 4. You're too young to understand. This phrase might seem harmless or even protective at first glance. It's often said when someone younger expresses an opinion, offers a solution, or asks about something you feel requires more life experience to grasp fully. But saying, "You're too young to understand," can have unintended consequences. It can alienate, dismiss, and shut down valuable conversations. Let's unpack what happens when you use this phrase. For the younger person, it can feel like their thoughts or feelings are being invalidated simply because of their age. Imagine a grandchild, a younger colleague, or a neighbor coming to you with enthusiasm or curiosity, only to be met with, "You're too young to understand." This response can make them feel unheard or undervalued, discouraging them from engaging with you in the future. Age does bring wisdom, but it doesn't mean that younger people lack understanding or insights. In fact, their fresh perspectives and adaptability can be incredibly enlightening. For example, the younger generation might have innovative ideas about tackling global issues, such as climate change or mental health, that align with modern tools and resources. By saying they're too young to understand, you miss an opportunity to learn from their unique worldview. Instead of dismissing their ideas, try engaging them in a thoughtful conversation. For example, if someone younger expresses an idea or opinion you think is oversimplified, you might say, "That's an interesting perspective. Can you tell me more about how you came to that conclusion?" This approach not only validates their feelings, but also creates a space for mutual learning. You can share your experiences without undermining theirs, creating a dialogue that bridges the gap between generations. Additionally, remember that understanding is not always tied to age. Some life lessons are universal, and younger people often experience challenges that mirror those of older generations: loss, love, ambition, and self-discovery. By acknowledging their capacity to understand these complexities, you build stronger, more meaningful relationships. Finally, consider how you would feel if the roles were reversed. Imagine someone older dismissing your thoughts or feelings because they believed you were too old to understand. Wouldn't it feel unfair? Age may shape our experiences, but it shouldn't define the value of our contributions. By avoiding the phrase, "you're too young to understand," you create opportunities for connection, respect, and growth. You acknowledge that wisdom comes in many forms and that every generation has something valuable to offer. Instead of a barrier, you build a bridge, one that fosters understanding, respect, and shared learning. 5. You look good for your age. At first glance, this might seem like a compliment. After all, telling someone they look good is generally seen as kind and uplifting. However, the added phrase, "for your age," changes the tone entirely. It implies that the person's age is inherently a disadvantage and that looking good is surprising or exceptional given how old they are. Imagine someone saying this to you. Does it feel like genuine praise, or does it carry a subtle undercurrent of judgment? For many, it feels like a backhanded compliment, suggesting that the bar for looking good has been lowered simply because of age. It unintentionally reinforces the idea that aging is something to fight against or apologize for. Instead of focusing on age, offer compliments that celebrate the person as they are. Say, "You look fantastic," or "You have such a radiant smile." These comments stand alone, free of any age-related qualifiers, and feel much more genuine and uplifting. This phrase also ties into a broader issue in society: ageism. By highlighting someone's age in the context of their appearance, you're unintentionally feeding into a culture that prioritizes youth over experience and wisdom. Aging is a natural and beautiful process, and every wrinkle, gray hair, or laugh line tells a story of a life well lived. If you've caught yourself using this phrase, don't worry, it's a common habit. What matters is being mindful of how words impact others. Celebrate people for who they are and what they bring to the world, not for how well they defy their age. When we shift our perspective, we help foster a culture that embraces aging as a powerful, positive journey rather than something to be diminished or excused. So next time you're about to add "for your age" to a compliment, pause. Ask yourself, does this add value, or does it unintentionally diminish the praise? You'll find that leaving it out makes your words feel more sincere, and the recipient will likely feel much more appreciated. At least you've still got your health. This phrase is often used as a way to comfort someone who's going through a difficult time. While it might seem helpful, it can come across as dismissive or minimizing their struggles. For example, if someone is grieving, facing financial hardship, or feeling lonely, hearing, "at least you've still got your health," can feel like their pain is being invalidated or brushed aside. Consider what the person might be experiencing when they hear this. They could feel as though their emotions aren't being acknowledged, or worse, that they're being told they shouldn't feel the way they do because things could be worse. It's a phrase that unintentionally puts a cap on their pain, suggesting they should focus only on the positives, even if they're not ready to do so. Instead of saying, "At least you've still got your health," try simply acknowledging their feelings. Say, "That sounds really hard," or "I'm here for you. What can I do to help?" These responses show empathy and let the person know that their emotions are valid and supported. It's also worth noting that not everyone has their health, even if they appear outwardly well. Chronic illnesses, invisible disabilities, or mental health challenges are common, especially as we age. Assuming that someone's physical health is a silver lining can inadvertently overlook the complexities of their reality. This phrase also tends to focus narrowly on physical health, ignoring the importance of emotional, mental, and social well-being. A person might have a clean bill of health, but still feel deeply unhappy or isolated. True well-being encompasses all aspects of life, and acknowledging that can lead to more compassionate and meaningful conversations. The next time you're tempted to use this phrase, take a moment to reflect. Instead of trying to comfort with cliches, offer your presence, your empathy, and your understanding. A simple, "I'm so sorry you're going through this," can mean so much more than words that unintentionally minimize someone's pain. By showing genuine care, you strengthen your connection and let the person know they're not alone. And there you have it. 6 things to avoid saying if you're in the 55-75 age group. Small changes in how we communicate can make a big difference in building stronger, more meaningful relationships. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these phrases stood out to you the most, or do you have others to add? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to read them. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share it, and hit subscribe with the notification bell so you don't miss future videos. For even more tips and insights, check out my newsletter, links in the description. Thank you for watching, and remember, your words have the power to inspire. See you in the next video.